We're back and we're talking all things improving one's life. Nope. Goodbye.
Welcome back to Talking in Spirals. We are back to talk all about positive life changes.
In our last episode, we got incredibly vulnerable with you and personal. Rather than talking about broad subjects such as sustainability and slow living, we figured let's talk about our personal lives, which is, we have feelings about it, but we're going to do it anyways.
I feel like this is going to be vulnerable again.
This is going to be vulnerable again, so buckle up. But before we get started, we would like to thank our sponsor of today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you in partnership with W&P. They are an amazing company that makes very aesthetically pleasing, sustainable, reusable products and solutions. Things like reusable silicone Ziploc bags, reusable stretch wrap to go over containers, things like reusable coffee cups and water bottles that are absolutely stunning, that will make you want to reach for your reusables rather than getting that single-use plastic cup. When you like your reusable cup, you do want to bring it everywhere.
We are so thankful to be working with them. We do have a discount code if you want to use the code SPIRALS15 on their website, and we also have it linked in the episode description and in our Instagram bio. You can just click the link and it'll say that we sent you a coupon.
People always comment and ask where I got some of my reusables, like the cups, the Ziploc bags, the cute water bottle that has a terrazzo print on the outside, and the answer is almost always W&P. They have beautiful pieces that will absolutely keep you reaching for them. I am a huge fan and have been for years, so highly recommend checking them out if you're looking for some reusables that you will actually use. So as we said, click the link in our bio to check out W&P's products and use code SPIRALS15 for a little discount. Thanks to W&P.
So today we're talking all about positive life changes, some life hacks, some things that we've done to improve our lives. We also understand that as the election comes closer in the United States, that our mental health can suffer. So we're going to give you some advice and things that we do that have helped get us through some tough times and really just helped improve our lives and make our lives better. But before we talk about that, Brennan, what's your hyperfixation this week?
Wow, I really thought that you would never ask, so thank you so much for caring. For those of you who don't know, if you're new to this podcast, we both have, hyperfixations all the time. It was one of the things that we first bonded over when we became friends, is that when we get excited about a certain subject, topic, item, whatever,
We go hard.
we go hard, we go in on it. So at the beginning of every episode, we always feature our hyperfixation at the moment. Mine is at this current moment in time, making nut milks from scratch. For those of you who are unaware, because I have made it my entire personality online, I have not bought plant-based milk from the store in like 5 or 6 years because I make all of mine from scratch. It's cheaper. I think the ingredients are better and it's like easier, more zero waste, etc. And it just like tastes so much better to have your own nut milks or plant-based milks at home. So I started a series about making them online and I've been sharing a lot of recipes and it's gotten me like really inspired, just kind of like the response from them over the last couple of months. So I started by sharing how I make oat milk and then I did almond and cashew because I really wanted people to know that you can make your own plant-based milks for like a quarter of the cost of what you're buying at the store, and it doesn't have all of these like gums and thickeners and stabilizers if that's an issue for you. And also, you're saving so much packaging waste.
It's like you're talking to me.
I am talking to you. For those of you who don't know, Maria is allergic to everything, including most preservatives. So it's really helpful for people in that boat. And also, if you're just trying to watch, what you eat, it is also really fun and really easy. And you don't need a ton of gear or like all these fancy machines. I do love my almond cow, but you don't need it. So I've been sharing a lot of that and it's gotten me inspired to do like different milks. Like I made some coconut milk with coconuts from my yard, which was so
cool.
fun. I will say though, that negates everything I just said about how easy and accessible it is because that was so hard.
Coconut milk is a lot harder though than the other homemade milks.
It's a lot harder, and also, like, I had to process the coconuts with my hands, and I used, like, a hammer to get them open, and then I didn't have this coconut tool. It's like a curved knife that kinda, like, scrapes out the meat, so I used, like, a butter
Oh.
knife, and it took hours, and I literally got blisters,
Oh
so
my god.
if I had just, like, bitten the bullet and bought that little tool, I would have been fine, but it ended up taking so long.
I was just about to say, like, everybody thinks homemade milks are so difficult and so hard to make, but they're really easy. But you know what? I'm
I
not gonna say that
swear,
anymore.
they are really easy, just not homemade coconut milk, like, with the coconuts from the tree in your yard. I had my neighbor get them down with a machete, my Caribbean neighbor. Um,
With the
well, he
machete?
well, that's how you have to get coconuts down, yeah.
Oh my god.
So but I don't have my own machete. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Yes, I do. I keep it under my bed, so don't come for me. Um, I
Oh
don't have
my
my own
god.
machete, but, like, absolutely I should. I need to get one. But I used a hammer to break open the coconuts, and then I used a butter knife to scrape out the meat, but it was a lot of work. It was very hands-on. But other than that, making your own milk from scratch is so easy. Like, I made a video that went pretty viral about making oat milk for 10 cents a batch. And people are arguing in the comments about how it's so bad for you, but, like, whatever, go away. And I just want people to know that it's, like, so simple, so easy. You know, you can make milk out of pretty much any, like, shelf stable grain or nut that you have in your house. And I'm gonna get creative with it more in the future. Things like macadamia nut milk, pistachio milk. Gonna experiment a little bit more. And it's just been really fun, and I'm enjoying it. So that's that. That's my hyperfixation.
I'm very inspired. I haven't actually made homemade milk in a long time, but now I'm inspired. I think I might do it on this week's Homemade Kitchen Restock. I gotta get back into it.
Oh my gosh, you absolutely should. It's so easy. I think a lot of people think you need a nut milk bag, and while those are incredibly cheap and, like, very good to have, you don't actually need it. Like, if you have a metal fine mesh strainer in your kitchen, which a lot of people do, if you don't,
Mhm.
highly recommend, because that's a very useful kitchen tool. Then you can really strain the milks through that. It takes a lot longer, but it's like
Yeah, if you already have
it's
it,
worth it.
it's not gonna cost you anything extra to try it.
And if you have, like, a tea towel, you know, you can
Yeah.
strain stuff through it. It's probably not gonna be as efficient as a nut milk bag, but I do think there's this common misconception that for most of our homemade kitchen restock projects, you need all this
Yeah.
equipment and stuff, and that's honestly just not the case. Like, you can really access a lot of the homemade stuff with just pretty basic kitchen materials. You do need a blender, though, so and you need a decent
Yeah,
one.
you can't really get by
No, you
that.
need a blender or a food processor or something. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine life without a blender. So,
Yeah, I use our blender as a food processor, so
oh, me too. I don't have a food processor.
no, I don't either.
So, anyways, what is your hyperfixation?
I have definitely used part of this hyperfixation before. I have an espresso machine, a secondhand Breville Barista Express espresso machine on Facebook Marketplace, and that's not my hyperfixation. It is always my
It's
hyperfixation.
always in the back of your mind.
It's always in the back, but my current hyperfixation is flavored syrups. So I started making a simple syrup for my coffee that's a salted caramel one, and then I add it to oat milk and then add my coffee. And I used to buy the giant bottles of creamer, and they're so expensive now. They're like $5 or $6 for like unusual size of creamer, and I can't justify spending it. So I make simple syrups, and then I either buy oat milk
Yeah.
or I will be making oat
It's so
milk. And
easy.
it's so easy, and the coffee is so much better. And there's all these things that come out about coffee creamers. I mean, I buy the oat milk coffee creamers, or I used to, but the regular coffee creamers have a lot more oil than actual like milk in them.
Right. They really do. It is like straight oil.
It's so bad for you. So I have been doing that. And my new favorite thing is making different flavored syrups. So I make my salted caramel syrup. I make it sometimes not salted, but I made a brown sugar syrup to make like the Starbucks version of a brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. I'm making a pumpkin spice one this week. Like, it's like my new fascination about all these different flavors that I can add that are homemade, and they last is like so long in the fridge.
It is so fun to make
It
things
is
from
so
scratch. If you
fun.
take nothing away from this podcast or both of our platforms, it is so fun to make things from scratch. I will never get over it.
We find so much joy in it.
It's just creative, it's fun, it gets me offline and actually doing shit with my
Mhm.
hands, which is like what life is actually about. It's so fun. So I love that. I think you did actually have that hyperfixation, that exact one, not that long ago.
The syrups? I don't think I did the syrups. I thought it was just the coffee.
But I think it's worth having multiple times because
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing is you can try different flavors, you can always make different creative
Yeah.
stuff. The one that I'm fixated on right now that I've been making for a couple of months now is just a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar and water, and then like a teaspoon, not even like half a teaspoon of that Trader Joe's vanilla bean paste. It's
Ooh,
so cheap and it's so flavorful.
yes.
And I just mix it into my simple syrup and then I do a pinch of salt. So it's like a salted vanilla thing.
Yeah.
It is so good. But I will say, one time, and I've never done this again because it's very expensive, but one time I made a simple syrup for my coffee with a can of coconut milk instead of water.
Interesting.
Unreal. It was like a creamy coconut brown sugar
Ooh, that
syrup,
sounds so
and it
good.
honestly made an iced coffee so good, and I need to do it again. It was amazing. Maybe with my backyard coconut milk, but I honestly feel like that stuff is just so good that I just want to drink it fresh. I'm literally drinking an iced coffee with my homemade coconut milk, cold brew, and my vanilla syrup in it as we speak.
Amazing.
So,
I'm making a coffee after we're done recording this episode, because it's almost time for my midday iced coffee.
life is filled with little pleasures such as a midday iced coffee. I'm having mine.
And I guess my update too is now I have used my Breville barista machine that I bought secondhand for $350 or $300, whatever it was. I've used it enough times that if I bought coffee out each and every time, that I've paid it off.
Aw,
So
cost per
now
wear,
now every coffee that I make on it, he is very low
your
now.
cost per use. If you are somebody who goes out and buys coffee every single day, we need to have a conversation. I'm not here to shame
We
you.
both make it in different ways. There's so many different ways to make it.
There's so many different ways to make it. I have an entire series on my page about budget iced coffee at home. You have no
Oh, so
excuse.
good.
Save yourself some money. You can do it. You can do it. It's actually so nice to have your little iced coffee sitting on your couch in the morning and just being
Yeah,
like slow morning and like didn't have to go anywhere. It's just the best. No plastic
it
cup. We love it.
is. And the only times that we actually buy coffee out now is when we're traveling. So it makes it more like special, I would say, when we're traveling and we can get coffee out. Like,
Yeah, it's a little treat now because 90% of the time I'm just having it at home.
yeah,
So when I do want to treat myself and go like work at a coffee shop, have a little coffee as a treat, it feels more
yeah.
special to me.
And also, like, I like to make my coffee the way I want because I started having issues where when I would go get coffee, like, there'd be too much milk or it'd be like too much sugar.
There's nothing worse than spending $7.50 on an iced coffee and having it taste like
I know.
store-bought milk garbage and like it's like come on.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
got into matcha recently. Like I go back and forth on matcha, but I realized I think I was drinking too much iced coffee because they're so good that I like want to have 3. And I was like, okay, my mid-afternoon drink should be a matcha because I think it's like easier on your body apparently. Who even knows, right? By the way, not here for coffee slander. Don't
No.
tell me to quit coffee. I'm not
Nope.
going to.
Never.
I have to draw the line somewhere. This is my thing that I love, and there's also a lot of health benefits to drinking coffee. It's not all bad. But yes, reduce your caffeine intake probably. However, I started doing matcha and I'm super picky about it because I think matcha there's a lot more room for error. When you go to a coffee shop and you get a matcha, sometimes they are disturbingly bad.
Oof.
Like unreal. Like it's like how who made this, you know? And they're like $7, $8, which is
Mm,
insane, at least where I live.
yeah.
So, anyways, honestly, making coffee at home could be the first on our list of changes that we've made in our lives.
It is definitely, yeah, so take all of that and apply it because making coffee at home is an absolute game changer
Yeah,
for your wallet and just like
money.
I find so much joy in making it. I don't make the morning coffee. My husband makes the morning coffee because I'm not caffeinated to make the morning coffee, but then I'll make our midday coffees.
So married. So married. My husband makes our coffee because I don't want to.
Because I'm not caffeinated. I'm not
I get it.
coherent enough to make it.
No, I love that. I he's such a gem.
He is.
He's really such a gem. Such a good husband. Husband of the year.
True.
Love that.
Yes.
So, what are some things that you've done in your life that have like improved it? We were actually just talking before we hit record about Maria turning 27 and how I told her late 20s are the best that I've experienced so far. I know people say that like about everything. It's like, so I'm 29 and like I've genuinely felt that just getting older is amazing. And people are saying, yeah, of course, because you're so young. I know. I don't know. I hear 30 is the best, like your 30s your best decade. I think with every year, you just learn to understand yourself and accept yourself more and more, and you just care less what
Yeah.
people think. But I didn't feel that way. I think I had a really rough go of it until like 27 was when I really first started to be like, oh, I know.
Listen to our last episode for context.
Yikes. Like I really felt like I knew who I was and I was comfortable with like just the path I was on a little bit more, and I was more sure of myself. I trusted myself more. And I honestly think getting older and being in your late 20s, especially, also you can do this at any time. Like you don't have to be in your
Yeah.
late 20s, but making these small changes in your life that just improve your life, and you just have the perspective now that I'm older to look back and say, wow, this actually really was like a very positive thing that I started doing for myself.
Yeah.
So some of these will be a little bit more cliche, and some of these will be a little more off the rails.
And I would also like to say that some of them are going to be very niche,
Yeah,
too. We
right.
understand if these don't all appeal to
Yeah.
you.
This podcast is called Talking Spirals, so we get a little niche sometimes.
All right, my first life hack is the Aura Ring.
I was gonna say this thing. Honestly, though, that's even better because we can like double vouch for it.
Yeah, I got an Aura Ring 4 months ago, and I'm quite literally obsessed with it. Brennan is the one who inspired me to get it, and I asked her a shit ton of questions before then, and it has quite literally changed my life, and we did talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we did in one of our, I think.
So update, it's awesome.
So, for those of you who don't know, an Aura ring is basically a fitness tracker that is actually a ring rather than like an Apple Watch. It doesn't have a screen. It just looks like a normal ring. Like I think it's so cute. I wear a lot of rings and it like fits right in,
Mhm.
but it gives you so much data just like on your health. And for me, I got it for sleep, and then it's tracks everything. You can look into it and see if it's something for you. I will say, as people who don't promote overconsumption and have spoken about it in depth, neither one of us generally promotes like
Yeah.
go buy this expensive thing. This is kind of my one exception. Like the ring is expensive. I got mine on sale on Black Friday and I still paid
I mean,
250.
I paid 300 for mine.
And I got the cheapest one. I paid the
Yeah.
cheapest one on the site too. But if you're considering it, it's also like $5 or $6 a month for the membership.
Mhm.
But if you're considering it, I've had mine for almost a year. Highly recommend. If you're a data person who's like looking to improve your health and just like, when I started to work out, it really, really changed the game for me. So definitely recommend getting like some sort of a health tracker, fitness tracker, if that's something you're interested in. Again, we talked about like triggers with
Yeah.
health stuff. If that's not something you can handle or you're not interested, definitely skip this one. But if it's something that you've been on the fence about, like I know a lot of people like the Aura Ring, maybe I should try it. Well, you have two glowing recommendations from both of us.
Yeah, I'm quite literally obsessed. I used to wear a Fitbit. The app was very much around dieting and just restrictive eating, and Aura is like the complete opposite. So I pulled up my app to share some of the stats that it gives you. First off, it tracks your activity. So it tracks your heart rate, pretty much how far you walk, how many calories you've burned. But you can also change that. If you want to not look at the calories, it'll only tell you like how far you've walked or to tell you the steps. It's very customizable. It talks about whether or not you're staying active during the day, whether you're moving every hour, whether you're recovering and giving your body enough time to recover. Then it also breaks down your entire sleep. So it tells you how long you slept, how long you spent in bed, whether the sleep that you had was efficient, whether it was restful.
The amount of REM sleep, the amount of deep sleep, the amount of light sleep, like it really breaks it down. And if sleep is something that has been a problem for you, because for me, yep, absolutely has throughout my life been an issue. And I bought this ring with that in mind. It completely changed the game for me
Yes.
because it gave me hard data to actually look at to see what was and was not working for
Mhm.
me. So, like, let's just give a very surface level example. I would take a sleep supplement, like a little like magnesium or something, and I could then see the direct result of like the quality of sleep I was getting after taking that
Mhm.
supplement versus just like going off of how I felt,
It's
which
incredible.
it's amazing. So things like that, it tells me everything that I need to know. And as someone with health anxiety, I was a little bit worried that I might like start to, maybe have some negative impacts of having too much data at my fingertips, but that has not happened yet because I'm like a data person and so is Maria. So if you're struggling with your sleep, it helps to have like the ring, which from everything I've looked at, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty respected in the way that it tracks things. You'll hear some like differing opinions. Some people are very much like Team Garmin, which is a fitness watch, or some people are into the Apple Watch. But
Yeah.
for me, the ring is the best option because I don't want another screen. And it is the most in depth, like sleeping tracker. So I love it. Completely changed my life. Side note, if you do not want to take hormonal birth control, you can pair your Aura Ring with the Natural Cycles app, and that can track your temperature to let you know the windows wherein you are fertile or infertile, whether or not you're trying to
Mhm.
conceive or trying to prevent. So it's an awesome, like, non hormonal form of birth control for those of you who are a good fit for that. Definitely something worth looking into.
Yes.
And if you work out a bunch, one thing that I didn't expect from the Aura Ring, it tracks my recovery, like Maria said. So if I work out, it will tell me whether or not I'm fully recovered from the previous day's workout and let me know how much I should work out or not work out the following day.
Mhm.
And it's pretty interesting. It'll also tell you, especially if you're using it to track your cycle, it'll tell you where you are in your cycle, the variations in your body temperature, like so much information to help you know how to like conquer your day. So
Yeah.
every day when I wake up, I check my sleep score, I check what is called your readiness score, which is something on Aura that basically compiles all the data and lets you know how good you're going to be for the day, basically. And if my readiness score is really low, then I'm like, I'm going to lay low today. And if it's really high, I'm like, I'm going to take on the day.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend.
And the other thing too with sleep is something that I'm very conscious of is the fact that sleep apnea runs in my family, and it's something that I need to keep an eye out for. And this measures your breathing. So it will tell you
Yes.
variations in your blood oxygen levels, which is something that not every smart tracker can do.
Right.
So it'll tell you, and it'll tell you exactly when, how many disturbances you had in your sleep. So as somebody who has a genetic history for something like that, it's incredible to have that data at my fingertips. So then I know
That peace of
if
mind.
down the line I'm having a lot of breathing issues in my sleep that I'm not aware of because
Right.
I'm asleep, then it's going to give me that data.
And I have read on Reddit a lot because there's a Reddit page for Aura. I have read a lot of people discovering that they have sleep apnea from their Aura ring,
Yes.
which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it used to be that you would have to like your partner would be able to know like if something was happening, then you'd have to literally go like sleep at a place overnight and then they'd be able to measure it all.
Right.
But to have something that like
Could indicate that something is wrong. Yeah.
every day, yeah, it's huge. And so like Brennan was saying, it takes all of that data and it compiles it, and it takes you a couple months for the ring to kind of learn your baseline, and it compiles it all into this readiness and resilience, and it'll tell you whether you're low stress, high stress, if it takes you longer to recover. It's just incredible. Absolutely well worth the money.
Yeah.
And I was a hater in on the first episode about that you have to pay for a subscription, but I would gladly
Right.
continue paying to get all of data.
It's $5 or $6. It's like one coffee. Speaking of coffee, make your coffee at home. You
Yep,
paid for it.
exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I do think they should, it's kind of a cash grab for them. I'm sure they could
Yeah.
charge less, but I mean, honestly, I'm happy to pay for it because it's completely changed my life. So,
And I hope that it goes to, like, continuing to develop it so then in the future we get even more.
oh yeah.
So,
There's always more updates. It's
yeah.
definitely become like an integral part of my like health and fitness and everything. And also, I think I touched on this on another episode, but when I have anxiety, I have panic attacks, unfortunately. They've gotten a lot better over the last couple of years, but I still do have them from time to time. And it's very helpful to like, this is dark, but if you were having a panic attack or you're having anxiety and sometimes you feel like you can't breathe, it's pretty reassuring to me, someone who has health anxiety, to be able to look at the ring and it's like, no, actually, you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not that technology can't be wrong, it
Yes.
can, but it's just kind of like peace of mind
Yeah.
because when I'm having an anxiety attack, it feels like I'm dying and I'm not.
Yeah. Sometimes
So,
it's nice to just have it
again,
on there telling you that you're okay.
right. So we started off with the least accessible, most expensive thing, but
But one that both of us really, really are happy with.
we have to talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to talk about it because it's like very, very much a part of our lives. So that's an amazing one. I wanted to share my next one, and a lot of these are health related because we're both kind of like health focused people. One of my life hacks that is, or life changes that has really, been made a huge difference for me is having an emotional support giant water bottle.
Yes.
We've talked about this a million times on this podcast, but I have to talk about it. I have to talk about it. I have a 32-ounce Owala. Maria has a Stanley Cup. We've talked in depth about overconsumption as it relates to water bottle companies, so don't come for us, okay? We
One.
each have one bottle that we like. But I bought this bottle in August of 2023 and it has not left my side since. And I have quite literally tripled the amount of water that I drink because of this bottle. If you're looking for an easy way to feel better, just in general, just all around, just drink water, drink more water,
Yep.
and also electrolytes. That's another thing that's completely changed my life. It's embarrassing to say, but I am fully addicted. And I will tell you right now, everyone in my life will attest to this. The only thing that I'm truly addicted to is Cure electrolytes.
Nice.
They are not sponsoring me, nor have they ever. I wish. Cure electrolytes are amazing. I went into Erewhon in LA looking for some electrolytes because I felt like I was always dehydrated,
Yeah.
especially because I live in a very hot climate. But I just felt like I was drinking water and it wasn't actually like doing anything for me. So the guy at Erewhon, yes, I know, the electrolyte guy at Erewhon, which is like the bougiest health food store in LA, he recommended this electrolyte, which is basically powdered coconut water and then like, some salts, pink Himalayan salt, etc. They have amazing ingredients. Cure is the name, Cure. And I bought a few and I became completely addicted. I felt so good. I'm not like paid to say this. Like I said, I just genuinely have become addicted to this stuff and I drink it every single day in my water bottle and I feel a night and day difference. So it's not just, first of all, the taste makes me drink more water and there's no like sugar. It's not like, I know Liquid IV is like 20 grams of sugar or something. That might be wrong, but like that's a lot, And again, as someone who like wants to be mindful of my health and, not having a ton of sugar, but also like let myself live, you know, that's still like
Yeah.
kind of a lot of sugar to be drinking on a regular basis. So this one has like pretty good ingredients and it's also like I think it works. Like I feel a big difference. So I drink it every day and I'm not saying that brand, but I'm saying the importance of like electrolytes has cannot be overstated. Like you need to replenish your electrolytes in your body if you're working out or you live in a hot climate especially. So highly recommend. So staying hydrated is my life hack. So basic.
I have to ask, have you seen all the stuff about the Owala lids being swapped at Target?
No.
So after this episode, you need to go on like Owala's website and look up your bottle and see if you have the right colored lid to go with your bottle because people are going in and switching all of the lids. So people are realizing that they don't have the original lid that's supposed to go with their bottle because people change them to get like different color matches. And
Oh my
people that work at
gosh.
Target have to go in and pull them off the shelves and like try to rematch them. It's been like all over my FYP on TikTok. about people not having the right Owala lids.
That's so funny. I haven't seen anything about that, but I bought mine a long time ago. I think this is the right. That has to be,
I
right?
have no idea.
I mean, I don't care. I think it's cute, but that's so funny. Again, it will never not be a fixation of this podcast. Water bottle culture
Hmm.
is wild. We do subscribe to it, but to an extent. But that's wild.
But we each only have one.
No, I'm just saying the obsession with certain brands, like the brand loyalty. Like I used to make fun of it, but then I got this bottle and I'm like, no, no, no. We ride it on for a Walla.
Yeah. Yep. I feel you there. That's how I used to be for Yeti. I have a Yeti coffee mug, like one of the travel mugs.
I do too. Yeah, it's I've had it for like 6 or 7 years. It's the best.
The amount of times I've dropped it and it looks brand new still, nuts. And then we have a like what we call our gym water bottles because they're like oversized, huge Yeti water bottles. And then we each have a Stanley cup. That's our extent of water bottles. So I have a nice coffee cup and two water bottles that serve different purposes.
Right.
But like you don't need more than like three.
No, you don't. And we could go on and on. But that actually brings me to one of my other life changes that I wanted to mention, which is having cute functional reusables, not just the water bottle, but like coffee cup,
Yes.
Tupperwares, even like containers, like having that stuff that I actually want to use. It's actually
Because
functional.
I actually use them.
Highly recommend, which goes in line with the sponsor of today's episode, which is W&P, and they can help you out in that department. Just saying. But if you're looking for like, to be more sustainable, to reduce your waste, having reusables that you actually want to use, game changer. Like my reusable coffee cup is from Clean Canteen. Love them. I've worked with them in the past as well. So full disclaimer, and I will use that bottle until it quite literally falls apart, which probably will never happen because it's stainless steel.
Yeah.
So having reusables you actually use, for example, I love straws, like reusable straws, and I realized that glass is the one for me. That's what I use. I like because I can see through it and
Hmm.
see that it's clean. So, yeah, now I have a bunch of those.
And it's also not going to pierce your eye out.
Well, try me.
On the straws, I use glass straws too. Like I have a straw in my Stanley, and I use glass for those. But I also love the package-free metal rainbow boba tea straws. They're like the giant ones, but we use them for
For
like milkshakes
smoothies.
and smoothies.
Yeah,
Oh, so good.
the best. The best.
But yes, having cute functional reusables is also a game changer because like I use stasher bags so much more. My version of the reusables is the Pyrex glass bowls with the colored lids. Those are like
Yep,
my
the
fave.
best.
My next life hack is routines. This is something that I speak very passionately about in my personal life, and it is something that has quite literally changed my game. I function using the Google Calendar blocks. If I go to my Google Calendar right now, it says we're recording the podcast. But then after for work, it says that I'm going to be using the next 3-4 hours to edit and schedule posts. On Mondays, I do administrative work and planning. Like, I function by using blocks on my calendar.
For those of you who don't know, Maria is a very type A person. And she blows my mind with her productivity and the ways that she's able to use her time efficiently. So I am all ears when it comes to like how you do what you do because I need to get on your level. So this might not be for everyone because she's pretty extreme with this stuff. I mean, I kind of honestly am too, but I can't wait to hear about this. I'm interested. I'm invested. I'm sad.
It really started when I became self-employed because I no longer had like a specific work time and a work schedule. And
That changes everything.
yeah, so when I first became self-employed, it was in June, and my husband was just about to get off of work for the summer because he's a teacher. I just kind of had a really nice summer last summer. I enjoyed my time off with my husband. We got some home projects done, we did some traveling. It was just very nice. But then when he went back to work in September, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what is happening right now? And we had just gotten a dog, we had just gotten Pepper. So I took that opportunity and just ran right with it because I needed some sort of structure in my life to get myself back on some sense of normalcy. And I, to this day, think I would have quit being self employed if I didn't get a routine down in September. My usual routine, we wake up, we eat breakfast, my husband goes and showers, and then I take Pepper on a 2-mile walk in the morning just to kind of tire her out.
And to reach your aura activity goal.
Yes, early in the morning or at least close to it is really nice.
Yeah.
And then I come home, I shower, I change, I get ready, do my skincare routine, take my medicine, get my morning stuff out of the way. And then I sit down at work. And then I have a 3 hour block in the morning where I do computer work. This is like 9 to 12 ish. Then I'll break for lunch and I'll have an iced coffee. And then I'll either do like recording or editing. But I have every single day in my Google Calendar laid out with recurring events that are time blocks. So Monday, I do all my recording and my planning. Tuesday, I do all of my editing. And then Wednesday, I do YouTube editing. And then Thursday and Friday are different based on each week. And I always try to take Fridays off.
You amaze me. You amaze me. That's a lot. That's pretty intense.
It is like how I get myself through though. And I always, like, I'll be the first to admit that I'm a very efficient worker.
Yeah, I would hire you. I already did.
Like, I can edit 10 videos in the span of like 4 hours just because I'm very efficient about the way that I go about it. So, set a routine. If you are feeling like you don't have your shit together or you need some sort of structure in your life, set a routine that you're actually going to stick to. And understand too that if you set a routine and you try it for a week and it doesn't work, you just move things around, try something different, do something in a different order.
And nowadays, there's so much access to creating routines. Like you can literally use ChatGPT. You can type into ChatGPT, make me a routine, and don't make it too strict. If Maria's sounds too strict, because to me that gave me a little bit of anxiety.
It
That's
probably is.
It's very structured and regimented. If that's how you best operate, perfect. If it's not, you can literally type into ChatGPT or look up online like morning routines, routines for productivity, etc., routines for like using your time wisely, time blocking. Like there's so much access now to helping
Yes.
you create one. You don't need to actually get out a piece of paper and like,
Yeah.
you can automate everything. Like
Yes.
the Google Calendar time blocking is super
And it's
helpful.
free. You don't have to buy an app to do it.
That's the thing, you don't. But if you get an app that helps, do
Yeah, and let me know because that'd be
it.
cool.
I will say having routines has completely changed my life as well. So my next like life-changing positive life change is, I'm so sorry that I keep talking about this, but exercising every single day changed my life, changed my mental health. That's the reason I started doing it, is for my mental health, also my physical health. But like we talked about body image in the last episode. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it, but having made those changes for my mental health and for like future old me has been a game changer. And the way that I did it, the only thing that ever made me enjoy working out, and this will be different from person to person, is ClassPass.
Oh, I need to try it.
Because I have learned about myself, I never wanted to work out. I hated it. I hate gyms. I don't want to go. I will not do it on my own. I have to go to a class where I'm being instructed exactly what to do, and I'm having other people around me who are also motivated to be there and want to do it.
Yeah.
And it like that energy like changes the game for me. Like the idea of me pulling up a YouTube video and like doing a workout at home, yes, I could do that for free. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I used to say that I was going to do that and I would just quite literally never do
Yep.
it. So setting a class, like going to fitness classes, I do a mixture of reformer Pilates, mat Pilates, bar, mostly spin, cycle classes, and yoga, hot
Ooh,
yoga.
nice.
So that's what I do. And I switch it up. And what works best for me is going at like 6 p.m., 5 p.m., because that's like it's marking in my body and my brain the end of my workday. And it's a way
Yeah.
for me, if I'm sitting around a lot at home, like working on the computer, editing, whatever, it's a way for me to like get all that pent up energy out of my body.
Yeah.
I used to do morning classes and then it was like I would come home, like shower, change, and it was just like kind of ate up a lot of my day.
Mhm.
Especially like you and I film a lot, we need daylight.
Yeah.
So it's best for me like morning light is when my house is gets the best light. So because I have east facing windows in my kitchen, etc. So it's best for me to work in the morning, work through my day, and then I have that workout to kind of like
Yeah.
break up my day in that sense. And then I get a lot of energy out, and then I'm a little more tired. And then I find that by the time I go to bed, like,
Yeah.
you know, 4 hours later or whatever, I feel really good. So ClassPass, it's not cheap, but they have different plans. So you buy a certain amount of credits per month, and then different classes cost different amount of credits. Like some of the classes I go to are like 2, and then I've seen some that are like 10.
Yeah.
So, depending on what it is, like reformer Pilates costs more, but all of those in conjunction with each other have completely changed my life. And I've been doing it for a year, and it's the only thing that has made me actually want to consistently work out every single day. Like I do like 4 to 5 times a week. So, and it's fun. Also, like having my friends, like my girls will come work out with me, that makes it so much more fun. And then we can turn it into like a thing where we go to like a spin class, and then we go for like a 2-mile walk afterwards where we just chat.
Mhm.
And when you're going on a walk with a friend, it's like, yeah, you're working out, but it doesn't feel like it. You're just hanging out with a friend,
Yeah.
and also having a dog probably changes the game.
I was just about to say, I'm gonna second you on the exercising, and also if you don't wanna get class pass, you can get a dog because I take her on walks every morning,
Right. Especially a lab.
and it's
Yeah.
been a game changer because 'cause I've
Right.
also been like, I was never one to really go out and do a lot of exercising. I don't like gyms, I don't do it.
Right.
But now that I have Pepper, I take her on walks almost every day, if not every day, and
Right.
it's a game changer, especially because now I can't do, like, high intense workouts.
Yeah, 100% mental health, physical health. And we've
Yes.
talked about this so many times, but a podcast walk is so good. Like, I try to go on long walks all the time, and every podcast with 2 white girls talking about health and wellness is
Mhm.
going to tell you to go on walks. And I know it's cliche, but there's a reason
Yep.
for it, because you will feel so
Yes.
much better when you go on a walk. Like, go on a
Yes.
walk, call your mom on the walk. Call your dad, call your friend who lives far away. Use that time to like multitask and get in some fresh air, get outside, be in your community, be in nature, and
Mhm.
also like move your body, get some exercise in, while also like listening to music or a podcast that you love, or calling somebody. Like it really makes it
Yep.
feel like, it's like passive activity. And there's something to be said for that. If you don't want to work out on a regular
Yeah.
basis, like I get it. I didn't until like last year. And I think there's something to be said for living like an active lifestyle
Yes.
without having to go into a gym and like, like for example, we've talked about this. My bike is my primary mode of transportation, always has been, hopefully always will be. That I know is a privilege because I live in a bikeable area, but that was a decision when I was moving to where I'm living now, because I bike everywhere.
Mhm.
And so I'm getting in that exercise, that fresh air, that outdoor time away from screens,
Yes.
just
Yep.
by way of getting from point A to point B, if that makes sense. So, highly recommend just getting more movement into your day, going for walks, going for workout classes, trying something new. Like, I had never really gotten into spin classes. I'd never really thought about it. I was never interested in that. And now I love it. It honestly, I'm not like a party person anymore. If it, I don't know how else to explain it. Like the one that I go to, it quite literally feels like going to the club, except healthy. Does that make sense? It's like
Yeah.
the lights and the music, it's like very fun. It feels like a party.
Yeah.
But I'm not drinking and like staying out late. It's like I'm actually doing everything that's good for me without the feeling of like, oh, rise and grind. It's like fun.
Yeah.
So
I need to try to find some low intense, like, workout classes.
yeah, making it fun is the key. Like
Yeah.
totally. So highly recommend doing workouts that are like, they're not like so intense. They're just like, oh, it's like, no, sometimes I'll take a yin yoga class where it's literally just stretching and being mindful. And like, that's incredibly valuable.
That's what I need.
You should do that.
I need to get on the low intense
Yeah,
workouts
take a gentle yoga class.
because of my sweat
Oh
diagnosis.
my god.
I think my last major life hack has been my last hour before I go to sleep, getting off of my phone.
Ugh, I need
So
to do that.
when I get into bed, I put my phone away and I grab my Kindle or I grab a book and I just read. And I have an hour chunk of time where I can just read, and then I'm tired and then I fall asleep a lot quicker and I don't need melatonin to assist in the falling asleep. It has been a huge game changer. And I know people have different times for like no screens. Like a lot of people say not to use your screen in the first hour that you wake up. For me, it's not using my screens in the last hour. And I don't count Kindle because it's, I
Yeah,
mean,
doesn't
not
count.
like an actual phone
I
screen.
need to get on that. I used to be really good about that, and now I read on my phone a lot at night, and I know
It is a game
I
changer
know.
though.
I keep my book next to my bed, and I do try to read before bed every night. I think having like a nighttime routine, we were just talking about routines, but having a nighttime routine
Yes, yes.
is key. So for me, it's like I take a hot shower usually, and then I get into some like comfy PJs, and I make myself my nighttime water bottle with my ice and everything, and then I turn the fan on and get in my bed. It's like signaling to
Yeah.
my body that it's time
It's time to shut down. It's time to go to sleep.
to go to bed, and I turn on my like nighttime light. So
I love it. So, another huge life hack has been cooking from scratch and meal prepping and
meal
doing homemade
prepping.
restocks and buying less at the grocery store and buying whole ingredients. It has been a game changer mentally, physically, emotionally.
If you haven't heard us talk about this enough, yeah, setting yourself up for success when it comes to eating and being prepared. Like, if you're like us, we sometimes will like forget to eat because we don't set ourselves up for success. So, for me, meal prepping and having ready to eat food that is not just gonna make me have a sugar crash, like
Game changer.
having like ready to eat, somewhat healthy food in the kitchen, ready for me to grab when I'm feeling hungry, whether that's breakfast, setting yourself up for success on tough days when it's like, I have a really long day today. So, like last night, I prepped overnight oats so that I could quite literally reach into the fridge, eat my breakfast,
Mhm.
and it has like protein, carbs, fat, all that I need to really fill me up. So, meal prepping and having food in your house ready to go every single day is a game changer. And sometimes it doesn't have to be that complicated. Like for example, like I always keep on hand in this house apples and peanut butter because I know middle of the day comes around, I'm going to want a snack. I don't want to think, I don't want to cook, I don't want to halt my day to do that. That's what works for me. I
Yeah.
slice up an apple, takes me 30 seconds. I dip it in some peanut butter, amazing, So like that's just one example. I'm not saying apples and peanut butter are a life hack, but they kind of are. But I'm saying like
They kind of are.
just set yourself up for success when it comes to everything. So like having a sleep routine, having a movement practice, I hear people saying instead of like a workout routine because it sounds a lot more
Yes.
appealing. And then having, healthy-ish ready to eat food in your house. So meal prepping, homemade kitchen restocking, spending time in your kitchen making food that's actually appealing to you. It changes your life.
Yes, I was gonna say food that you
Yeah.
actually like to eat too. Like, don't just meal prep apples and peanut butter because we say
What do
that
you want to
it's
eat?
good.
Yeah.
Like, food that you actually like is key because you can spend the time doing it, but if you don't like it, you're not gonna eat it.
100%. Yeah. And I know this one is so cliche, but you should really make your bed first thing when you wake up.
Oh, it's a game changer. I started doing that recently, and if I don't, Quinn will do it, and it is a game changer.
The idea that I could not do that now, just leave my bed unmade, like that's
I
insane
know.
to me.
Another aspect in that is changing and washing your sheets every week. And
Having a weekly reset day.
oh, key. We started changing our sheets every week when we started letting Pepper sleep on the bed and our cat sleep on the bed, and it is a game changer. And we used to do it with just one set of sheets, and I would just have to do laundry quickly, make sure it was good. But now we have a second set of sheets, and it is game changer.
Having a second set of sheets is non-negotiable for me.
It's like a life hack that I didn't know I
Go
needed.
pick them up at the thrift
Yeah.
store, like you don't have to like spend a bunch of money, but have a second set of sheets and that way you can change your sheet. I change my sheets every single Monday. They are changed first thing in the morning. I wake up, change the sheets,
Yep.
make the bed,
Ours
throw
is
the
on
other ones in the
Fridays,
wash.
yeah.
And then I just don't, yeah, I don't have to think about it. And this is another little life hack that's completely changed my life. Now we're on a roll and I'm just like thinking
I
of
know.
a bunch. If there's a task you don't want to do, which, let's say like your reset day where you have to do all these tasks all at once, set timers on your phone.
Yes, yes.
Literally set a timer. Anytime I have things I don't want to do, I set a timer and I see how
Yep.
much I can do in a certain amount of time. So for me, I'm like, I don't have time to clean this house today, but like there's stuff everywhere. I can't function. I will quite literally set a
Yep.
15-minute timer and say, let's do everything that I can in 15 minutes. And I feel like a new person afterwards. And that way, when the timer goes off, I'm done. It's over.
We do the same thing. It's a game changer.
So, and I do that for work tasks. I do that for everything. As someone with ADHD, when there's a timer, I don't know what it is. Something in my brain clicks and I'm like, oh, I have to do this now, you know? So that has been
Yeah.
huge. So, because sometimes I lose track of
Mhm.
time with my ADHD and I'll just be like doing one stupid task for 15 minutes and then I realize I have like 500 other things to do and 2 hours left in my workday. And so, time blocking, like Maria said, I need to get on the calendar time blocking level. But I will say, like, setting timers on your phone is such a simple, mindless, easy way. Everybody has a smartphone, you know,
Yes.
even if you don't, set a timer on your freaking oven. Like,
Yep.
it changes the game.
Yeah.
Highly, highly recommend. And then, like I said, with the bed making, I think having set things that you do every day. If you don't want to have a strict routine like Maria does, which is like down to the minute, just having expectations of like, this is what I do every single morning. These are my non negotiables. And I give
Yes.
myself five, I would say, five non negotiables that are every single morning that I do. And I mean, I'll just share mine. Why not? Make my bed every single morning,
Me too.
unload my dishwasher every single morning when I wake up.
Yep. Us
It
too.
has to be unloaded because that way when the like I'm making dishes throughout the day, they just go in there, the door gets shut, goodbye.
Yes.
It gets
Yep.
run every night, wake up, unload. Anyways.
Ours
That's
too.
number 2.
No dirty dishes in the
No.
sink over the night has been
No.
a game
No, absolutely
changer.
not. I won't do it. And then 3, get dressed and ready for the day. Actually dressed and ready for the
No.
day. So like that's for me, it's not even about like how I look, it's about the mental shift for me
Yeah.
of like, okay, it's my day is started, my bed is made,
It's
my
time to go.
dishwasher is
Yeah.
unloaded, and I'm like dressed and ready for the day, and I like
Yeah.
do some skincare, makeup maybe, and just get ready for my day. And for me, it's like a mental shift where I'm like, okay, I'm a person now. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like I'm in the world now. So that's number 3, and then number 4, my iced coffee. I'm not missing my iced coffee. So like first thing in the morning, I make my iced coffee, and then I sit and like have my little like slow morning. I'm very pro slow mornings. Like I'm not a morning person. I need to take time for myself, kind of like slowly chill, and then yeah, so you have your list of non-negotiables for the morning
Mhm.
or even the night, you know, but I'm saying if you don't want to be as regimented and strict with it as Maria is with like moment to moment, just have your list of like these are my non-negotiables.
Yes.
And my last one is tidying as I go. So like if I
Yes.
like
Yes,
before
yes,
I go to
yes.
bed, I do what I call night shift or sorry, closing shift. And in the morning I do what I call opening shift. I know this
Love
sounds
it.
silly. This is what works for me. I don't like to go to bed with the house a giant mess. Obviously
Yep.
things happen, but like
Yeah.
I kind of like reset for like 5 to 10 minutes every night and then every morning.
Yeah.
So like the reset in the morning is like dishwasher, bed, etc. Like kind of clear up any things that are left from the night before. Like if I was watching TV and like the couch is a mess and there's just like stuff everywhere the night before,
Yeah.
then I clean that up. So yeah, just kind of like starting with a fresh slate every single day. I just can't imagine not doing that anymore.
Me too. I really think that this episode should be rebranded to Positive Life Changes Our Routines because both of us have a routine that we stick
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, 100%.
And
We
having
do.
that routine has been beneficial, especially being self employed.
Right. Another one is work batching. So if you work for yourself
Oh, yeah.
or if you work, you know, for a company, I will say like batching your work is huge. So for me, I'll have a day
Mhm.
and this is maybe again niche like we said at the top of the episode. I work for myself as a freelance content creator as does Maria, but like batching things for me is huge. So I'll do a day of just filming in the kitchen. 8 hours, you know, not even like 6 hours. And then the next day I'll do a day of admin, all editing, and then like that's really really helpful. So scheduling out my week at the beginning of my week, and I'm not as strict and regimented as Maria, as I've said like 200 times, but On Mondays, I like go through my Notion. Wow, that's another life
Yep.
hack. Notion. Get Notion. Wow. We're going to be here for like an hour if I keep going. At the beginning of every week, I go through like my calendar, my to-do lists, my workflow, and I make sure that I have a time for everything, and I look at deadlines, and I just kind of make sure that we're on the right track, and I kind of start to schedule like days that I need to do this, things I need to do, and I go through and book my workouts for the week and any like social things that are pre-booked, etc. So just like keeping everything documented. As someone who has ADHD, that's everything. Like the fact that I used to just try to remember things and like not write them down or put them on the calendar, like I was setting myself up for failure for many years.
Writing everything down has been a huge game changer, and even just like using a calendar app has been a huge
Yeah.
game changer.
I'm a huge proponent of Notion, as is Maria. It is like our life hub. If you're not familiar with Notion, it's basically software that allows you to like organize your entire life. And I mean, you can, the possibilities are endless, right?
Yeah.
So, highly recommend keeping track of every single thing in my life in Notion. It has just really allowed me to have a lot more success in my day to day.
So that was a lot of life hacks, a lot of things that we've done to
And we could keep going.
improve our lives. We could probably do like a 3-hour episode because both of us, I think, have put in a lot of work over the last few years to kind of build the life that we want.
We've really worked on ourselves.
We have. And I did write my newsletter in August all about this, just about like building the life that I want. And both of us have really worked toward it. And I really should mention that it's September, election season is coming, and that mental health is rocky for probably almost everybody in America right now. So, if you'd like to implement these positive life changes post election season, we understand. You do not have to implement these tomorrow. Give yourself that grace to just kind of live and exist and get through the day because we have both been there and we understand.
Yeah, so stay strong, everyone. Get offline, turn off the TV if you need to. Sometimes we have to disconnect a little bit, take a little break, and that is highly recommended in these trying times. You know, it's a fine line to walk. You want to stay connected, you want to be informed, but also your brain is fried. You know, it's hard,
Yep,
but I will say taking a step back has never done anything but benefit me.
true. Take care of yourself. It's a rough time. We feel for you. Just take care of yourself first and foremost.
It's a rough one out there.
It's great. We're doing great. Everything's fine. The house is burning around us, but everything's fine.
Literally that meme. This is fine. Thank you so much for listening to this really chaotic episode just of like personal anecdotes and experiences. Getting a little too comfortable.
This was fun. We should do this again.
Yeah, this was really fun. Getting a little too comfortable here, but I'm enjoying it. So
Me
thanks so
too.
much for listening. If you want us to do more episodes like this, we're very happy to do so. This is a lot more fun than our normal stuff, honestly.
And our very heavy things.
Right. So thank you so much for listening, for being here. This podcast has been an absolute dream come true. I can't believe we're halfway through our second season already.
Oh, God.
Pretty crazy. And it wouldn't be possible without the help of our listeners and our sponsors. So big thanks to everybody. I can't believe that anyone gives a shit about what I have to say. Thank you so much for listening to us.
We appreciate every single one of you, and we love chatting with you guys on our Instagram, so be sure to go check it out over there. Thank you to our sponsor, W&P. We will have everything linked in the episode description, and we will be back in 2 weeks. It'll be October. It'll feel more like officially fall, and we'll talk to you then.
Bye.
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 I can't. I feel like I just talked for 5 hours. It's on you now, baby.
Okay.
Oh, did you hear that?
No.
Oh shit, my shit came out of do not disturb.